Welcome to Your Second Act, the podcast that proves that life doesn't have to end at 40, 50, or even 60, because when it comes to living your best life, age is just a number. Hey, gorgeous, welcome to another episode. Now, I don't know about you, but I really have missed over the years going out to a nightclub and just dancing the night away because, let's face it, are you really going to want to go to nightclubs surrounded by 20-year-olds? Because I personally don't. But in the past few months, I have actually been to a few events of your over 40 disco nights. And let me tell you, I had the best time dancing all night with friends to everything from the golden oldies that we used to dance to all the current stuff, and the energy, the crowd, the DJ. It was just pure joy. It filled my cup. I was on a buzz for days and days afterwards. But here's the thing. Have you ever noticed most DJs are usually in their 20s and usually males? So when I heard about two 40-something women who decided to grab the decks and start DJing in their second acts, I thought, how cool is that? And today's guests, Bri and Sarah, are the powerhouse duo behind BSide DJs. They've taken their love for music, friendship, and a sense of adventure and turned it into something incredible. And they really are proof that it's never too late to remix your life and follow your passions. And I can't wait for you to meet my first midlife musos. So let's get into this episode with them because they are seriously two cool chicks. Most women in their 40s are juggling kids, work, and family, but DJ decks probably not on their to-do list. And it's one thing to dream of doing something different, but another to actually do it. And I want to know, guys, how did you guys start?
Yeah.
Good question.
Very great question. I can start it. And then maybe Bri might finish this. So when I was 20, I was actually DJing for fun a little bit, just with the old school thing to use with vinyls, but didn't do it professionally at all. And, just did it on the side. And there really weren't that many girl DJs. It was pretty male dominated back then. And then kind of lost that and got a job in something else, not music, marketing and other things, but always really looked back and thought I really always wanted to do that, even growing up later, and Bri was a bit the same, really.
Yeah, I got to my probably late 30s and said to my husband, I really wish I learned to become a DJ in my 20s because it was something I always wanted to do. I was always really into music. But just like Sarah, there wasn't a lot of female DJs and I didn't really think it was something I could do back then. It was just not really a done thing as much as it is now. It was harder to access all the equipment and we had to really invest in buying all the decks and the vinyls, which is very expensive back then. And then my husband just surprised me for Christmas one year and gave me a set of decks and was like, well, here you go, learn, go do it. So that kind of kicked it off. And I, Sarah and I started mucking around together at home, and then we did sort of a few parties and that kicked it off. Then we had some friends ask if we would DJ at their parties, and then that led on to doing more events and some corporate gigs. That was all kind of through our network at the time. So yeah, that was how we got into it. And then since then it's kind of just grown from there. We've met more promoters and we now work with a couple of agencies that book us into different gigs.
Wow. So it's self-taught. It's not like you went and did a course on how to DJ.
There is part self-taught, but we have also done courses. We've done some online training, which is really good now. And I would say when we were in the early learning phase, it was like an obsession. Like I would be on my phone at 11 p.m. doing YouTube tutorials and just like really like Sarah and I are a bit similar. Like when we get into something, we go pretty deep. And I would say there was probably a 6 to 12 month period of just like intensely learning everything that we could about DJing. So yeah, there's a lot of learning. And at the first phase, it feels like so hard because you realize how much you can learn. Like DJing something you can learn forever. There's always something new you can do. So yeah, it was a funny period. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get this all down. But bit by bit you do.
And I also think if you are so passionate about something, it's not work, is it? It's just this thing that you want to. Yeah, it becomes like
the hobby that goes like,
an obsession.
You just, and it's fun because it's something you're actually really enjoying learning about. So that's pretty cool too.
Well, speaking of cool, you two must be the coolest mums at school pickup because I don't know about you. When I was doing the pickup, there was no one that was a DJ. I mean, it was, and the funny thing is you said it before, it's always been predominantly a male heavy industry. And even though I've seen the occasional female DJ, but again, they're sort of in their 20s, what do people, how do they react when they see two women in their 40s DJing at gigs? Like, what reaction do you get from the crowd?
Well,
they do ask us how old we are.
They do?
They definitely do. Oh, yeah, all the time.
Really?
All the time.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I know. They're not afraid of asking that. I think, it's a good point. They seem to love it. They seem to really like our vibe. I mean, we bring a pretty good energy to every gig we play at. And I think having two of us there kind of is this double energy sometimes, and we can kind of interact with the crowd a bit more. And it does probably, often DJs are just a single person as well. So it does look different. And I think, you mentioned the school pickup and what do some of the other parents or kids think and stuff. Some of a lot of the parents are really happy and think it's great, a bit inspired as well that, we wanted to do this. It's something we really love and going for it and taking a chance. And then our kids certainly love it. We both have daughters, and my daughter is now saying she wants to be a DJ. Like, she grows up. I was like, when I was your age, I wanted to be a hairdresser. But and we've even had one friend of my daughter's friend, she drew a little drawing of us DJing and the mum sent it to us. So that's really...
But you're inspiring others, right? And I think many of us have that, I wish I would have. But, just speaking to yourselves, it's never too late, right? It's not like you have to completely reinvent yourself because both of you also have a business that you do during the day while you moonlight at night as DJs. I mean, legit, how cool is that?
Sometimes it crosses over. And we're DJing during the day. Yeah, like we're an entrepreneur.
How do you fit it all in? I mean, because having younger kids, I remember it's not easy. You've got a lot on your plate. So you have a business together, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, we sort of work. We have two businesses that we work in day to day. So we have a marketing consulting business, and we recently launched a health platform website in preventative health about a year ago. So that keeps us super busy. And I think though it is all a bit symbiotic, and it relates to how we got into DJing, which was working together in an office, often with other team members there. We would always have music on in the background. And particularly in COVID, Sarah and I really became, I think it was a bit of a lifeline for us. And we we used to listen to a lot of house music, and then we started listening to heaps more drum and bass and liquid drum and bass because it's really great to work to, and it's quite a calming genre. It doesn't sound like it if you don't know it, but we kind of just kept gravitating during COVID, and we were making all these playlists, and we're like, wow, this music is so calming to work to. It's really good for productivity. And I think that kind of kicked off this desire to do it because we were constantly sharing music, making playlists, sharing them with our friends. And then we were like, we would love to actually do this, like, in a DJ capacity, because we're constantly looking at new music and listening to new music anyway. So it has kind of come out of our work together, I think, the DJing as well.
Yeah, of course. It would be so helpful because you know how you can work together as well. And also I would think doing something like this on your own would be really tough, but having someone with you, geez, that must be so good. Because
we go about this a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I do this all on my own, and sometimes it's like, oh, I wish I had someone with me just to even bounce ideas off. So I can imagine it would be so good. And also when you're there performing, because I can imagine things can go wrong, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Like baptism by fire.
Really?
And I think for Sarah and I, having worked together, we already used to our working style, which thankfully is very similar. Like we work quite similarly. We're very like, when you say, when you asked how parents said, how do you run your life? Well, we often laugh like we run it in 1 hour increments because like, it's just like get in, bang, do something and then move on to the next thing. But I think that's like, in terms of now DJing together, it's a really fun thing because things go wrong. It's like an exercise in problem solving every time. Like sometimes the DJ equipment doesn't work like it's supposed to. A lot of gigs you do on different types of DJ controllers or decks. So you honestly have to kind of look at it each time and go, oh, this is slightly different. Like it's what I know, but it's slightly different. So you almost have to kind of learn as you're, mid-set, which is really hard sometimes.
Yeah, wow.
It really is. Yeah. We've often like a corporate event as well. Often those you're taking your own equipment and it might be new speakers and things and you're setting up in a different space. And yeah, we've certainly had times of needing to start, but for some reason the sound isn't coming on and it's quick. Figure it out. Okay, you've got to call it message. There's the reverse on. What's happening here? Oh, we need to download a new driver for a new speaker. It's like, yeah, it's
that's stressful.
It is definitely. It really makes you think on your feet, but remain calm and.
Yeah, have a smile on your face like nothing is going wrong here. Nothing is wrong here. Look into that, Sarah. And having two of you is great because you literally have two minds to problem solve. We often talk about how horrible and lonely it would be being out there on your own trying to do all of that because it really is like pressure's on and there's actually no time to make big mistakes. You have to get it sorted.
Yeah, certainly.
So each set would go for how many hours?
It depends the type of gig we're doing, really. So, if we're doing events through kind of our agencies or more, the typical music events, they're usually an hour long. But if it's a corporate event, those can be 4 hours long, So that's a long time. DJing, and as you said, so that's the beauty of having two people as well. And you can really put people through then a journey, whether it's some cocktail event, and then they really often do want a dance floor, so they want to kind of merge from cocktail, kind of, housey music onto pumping dance floor at the end. So you have to really, you curate that.
Yeah.
A lot of them have, specific genres or different things they might want as well. So yeah, it's good to have two people so you can switch it up, and also check the crowd, check what's working. So it's
So what do you do in a situation when no one's on the dance floor? How do you get them on the dance floor?
It's a bit of a dark art, I think, and we have some little tactics and tricks. But you often when no one's dancing and you want to get a dance floor going, you have to sort of experiment with a few different genres to see what it is that's going to take, because we'll often get really generic briefs. Like we'll have someone come up and just like, just play music that we can dance to. And we're quite interactive. So we'll often be like, is there a favorite song you have? Or like, what kind of era music do you like? And a lot of people can't give you a name, or they can't sort of describe what they want. So then you have to kind of,
They probably sing it to you. You know that song, la la la.
if you get, like if you want to make a request, just have a song in mind, because you can usually work that out. But what we would do is often you're kind of reading the crowd. So you're trying to look for someone that looks like they're kind of vibing and having a good time. And then you start sort of skewing the music towards whatever it is that they're kind of connecting with. So if it was like R&B, or we would then start playing a few more R&B, like big known songs. And then that person will often kick the dance floor off and bring the other people with them. So you really have to be pretty conscious of people. And we are looking at everyone like really closely, and we can see who is actually kind of looking like they want to dance, or they're vibing off the music. Their body language is pretty obvious usually.
Yeah.
And then you sort of start to say, okay, well, they're kind of like enjoying this genre or this music, like let's play more of that. And then that often just leads to a crowd mentality. Few people get on, and then more people join, and then bang, you've got a dance floor. And then you've got to keep them there. So then that's the next hurdle.
Yeah.
Is making sure that you keep playing songs that doesn't kill the dance floor, and that they're really starting to like ramp and get more and more people coming.
You know, I love these conversations because I, as a person who just goes and listens to the music and dances, I don't actually appreciate what must be going on behind the scenes. You just look at that person mixing the music and they look like they're having a great time. But yeah, this is really interesting. But you were talking about it's a journey, and you take the crowd through a journey, and that is so true. And I remember that especially in my 20s, when you could see the DJ was really like, it would play things right down and then it'd pick it back up again, and then the crowd would go crazy. And yeah, you don't consider what goes on behind those scenes. So do you girls actually produce your own music as well?
Yeah, I do. So I actually started doing that when my son was 2 years old, I think. So I had done it when I was much younger, but that was with, pen and paper at a piano, because really the tools were not there like they are today. But yeah, when he was 2, I started producing music myself, which is it's a lot like DJing. It's just the best creative thing to do. It really is calming, and so I produce music that is liquid drum and bass music and a bit of future garage music. So they're pretty niche genres.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's excellent. It's such a great thing to do on the side, just for fun. And the same thing as, DJing, you learn so much every time you do it. You can learn something new each time. So I taught myself how to do that through the digital audio workstation kind of tools that they have these days, and that was a huge learning curve, but just so fun, so rewarding. So
Yeah, I was going to say,
really great.
What has it brought to your lives, this new venture of yours?
Oh, so much. I think we have reflected a bit recently, because it's been about 5 years or so now, and we often look back and just quite amazed with all the experiences and events and venues that we've been like privileged really to be able to play at. And what it's brought is a massive amount of fun. I think Sarah and I are similar in that we have similar values about we really love working hard, but we really like rewarding ourselves and offsetting that with having fun as well. And I think you speak about it on your podcast, Michelle, that, you know, like as we get older, a lot of people start to lose a bit of that fun in their life and they lose that spark and maybe they stop doing the things that used to bring them a lot of fun in their life. And it's just nature of midlife. Life gets harder, work gets harder. There's family, money, you know, health pressures for a lot of people. And somehow the fun stuff kind of falls away. So I think for us, DJing is now this constant little, even sometimes when we're tired because we are busy, yes, and we have a gig to go to, like nearly every time we make it fun because there's no real point for us to do it otherwise. Like we're doing this because it brings joy and fun into our life. So I think that that's a big part of why we're doing it and continue to do it because each year we've kind of leveled up a bit and done bigger gigs and more, you know, we're now working with some agencies and that's really cool. Like it's constantly growing as well.
I was just going to say, I think also it really reinforces doing the things that you think are scary and hard in life and giving it a go. And because that's seriously also what it's brought us, not just ensuring that we still have joy, but it is really hard and scary. And like we did think we wanted to do this 20 years ago and, you know, our thought was, hang on, why can't we still do this now? And the kind of confidence that brings you when you really go for something that you believe in and you try and it's hard and not the norm to do either. You know,
No, definitely lots of no.
the kind of, yeah, that satisfaction and, you know, is massive. I really think that's massive with it as well. Oh, so yeah, and you know, as Bri said, we've played at amazing places. We've played on super yachts in the harbour, going under Harbour Bridge, playing our favourite tracks. You know, we played at Taronga Zoo and we played in ski bars, on other rooftop bars, and that's incredible. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that you both have partners that are very supportive because obviously you are working on weekends at night. So I mean, how does that work with having young children?
Yeah.
It's a juggle. I think a couple of things that are in our favour is that our kids are a little older now, so they're not super young. Like they're 9 and 11, so they're at a good age. Like they've also got their own interests and lots of activities, so they may not notice it as much as if they were like babies and toddlers. But our partners are super supportive. There's no way we could do this if they weren't. And thankfully, both of them do like to go out and party, and hence why they probably encouraged us to do this in the first place. And Josh, Sarah's husband, DJs himself as well. So I think we probably all have a bit of that in us. And so they enjoy coming to our gigs when they can as well and having a fun night. But I do remember both of them early on when we were like, oh, you know, this could be more than just like friends parties. Like we could get paid to do this. And I think when we kind of hit that moment, it was a bit of a like question to them, like, are you cool for us to like, you know, push forward with this? Because that, you know, you do have to push it a bit. Like you have to market yourself like a business. And both of them are like, go for it, like go for it.
Awesome.
And they know what our goals are with DJing and they're like, go, like do it. So I think it's nice. Yeah.
Would you girls like to do this full time if you had the choice?
Good question. Oh,
That's a really good question. I've always said, like, the $1 million question is, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do with your time all day, right? And my answer 100% would be I would produce and DJ. Like, that's, I think, all I would do. In saying that, like, our health tech platform that we have, Health Hunter, is pretty important to us.
do now. So
It is very, very important to us. You know, it's kind of a good mix if we get the balance right of doing all these things. That's great because our health tech platform, it connects people to chronic and preventative healthcare providers, and that's really important for us too. Our health and well-being is a huge, important factor. We've all kind of had, close ones go through some health struggles, and the facts are 1 in 2 people have a chronic illness, but up to 80% of these are preventable. So that's also really important to us in life. So that's why this combination is really good, of doing all these things, because that's what life is about, right?
Absolutely.
We also have a bit of a similar affliction, I would call it, in that we're not great at doing one thing. Like Sarah and I are Aquarians by star sign, and Aquarians are quite a unique star sign if you believe in astrology, but we do like doing a lot of different things. And I know for me, in career-wise as well, I've never loved just doing one thing or working on one company or one brand in marketing. Like, I've always loved the joy of doing lots of different things and wearing different hats. And I think with DJing, I personally would probably lose maybe a bit of the passion if I had to do it like 5 times a week and it was my only thing. I think it's so joyful for us because it's not the only thing that we do in our life. And whilst I think Sarah and I probably would love to fly around the world doing more DJing, I think, like anything, if you do too much of one thing in life, it can get boring and monotonous. And I would hate for that to happen with DJing because it's so fun and brings so much joy.
Yeah.
And you can see that in the industry. You can see people that are a bit burnt out by having to do gig after gig. We know DJs that go and do 3 gigs in a night on Saturday night. And I just think, wow, there's just no way I would want to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And
the energy it must take to actually just do it in one night. Can you imagine? That's hours. I don't even know how they do it.
We DJ'd before a DJ the other night, and she did 12 hours one Saturday night.
12?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And then you need to be in your 20s probably for that level of stamina. But even still, just that becomes, is that as enjoyable then? I don't know.
But obviously not.
Really enjoyable because we put a lot of effort into our events that we do.
Can you tell me what's been the best gig that you've done? Has there been anyone famous? So you must have come across.
I have.
Yeah. Oh, please.
There's been a few famous people. There was one in particular, actually, we DJ'd for great venue. I think it was, can't remember the name of the venue.
It was the Maritime.
Oh yeah, the Maritime. So beautiful, like summer night, packed, and Steve Jobs' son was there, and we didn't even know that at the time until someone told us halfway through. So that's
cool.
pretty amazing. And in terms, we've also connected with other international DJs as well. And some of whom have been incredibly, been on the scene for 30 years, and they've been incredibly supportive of our DJing and female DJing, and really encouraging and kind of been mentors to us in ways as well. So that's been just so lovely. I think it's such an industry where networking and connecting is really important. And then especially on the female side as well with that, not unlike a lot of other industries in the female side. So, but yeah. Can't think of what's another favourite venue gig?
Oh, definitely a couple of the boat parties that we've done. So we did a super yacht called One World a year or two ago, which is just like this incredible 100-foot yacht with a spa on it. And we did a party on that. And as I think Sarah mentioned, it was a pinch me moment. Like our boys were playing cricket. It was like a really hot day. And we're going under the harbour bridge playing like one of our favourite songs of all time, going, we could either be standing on an oval at cricket right now, or we could be here.
Oh my God.
Where would you rather be?
Where would you rather be? And it was like, wow, if this is like what we can do on a Saturday afternoon, like bring it on. It was just so much fun. And we've had a few nights like that where it's like we are, feel like another world to drop off school mum life right now. And that
I'm so jealous. Yes, oh my God, that sounds so amazing. And we're talking about, having other DJs that have mentored you, even just that in itself, the fact that you're getting that recognition, that must mean so much that you know that you're doing something that's great, that's resonating with others. Because I can imagine the DJ industry or the space, it's not easy. So many people want to do it. But the fact, I think maybe your point of difference is, and I'm not being ageist, but the fact that you're in your 40s, you're two females, you're blonde bombshells, which is, you've got this look about you. It must be a great marketing tool for you because that would stand out, right? So, I mean, God, who knows where it's going to take you overseas? I mean, wouldn't that be great?
But yep, overseas, definitely that's the plan, going global.
Yeah, but why not? Who's to say that it can't happen? Like, why not?
That's it, right. As you said as well, it's like you sometimes think you might have imposter syndrome, like, should we be doing this? Can we do this? But as you said, getting that recognition and, mentorship and encouragement that's great. Yeah, of course we can do this. Why can't we do this? I think sometimes as women or, people in general, we doubt ourselves about things, but it's also the joy and the beauty of having, an amazing close friend that you're doing it with as well and going, sure, yeah, let's do it. Great.
Yeah, doing it solo would be so different at this stage of life. I think I think there's definitely a point of difference, as you said. I think in a lot of events as well, we have a marketing background, so we do know how to market ourselves, but we also know how to deal with, client communication. And there's a lot more to actually just getting up, and there's a lot before and after events where you have to be really professional. And I think that's where a lot of other DJs might let themselves down because they're not, like, we can kind of do a lot of our own management of events as well because we have that background. But yeah, I think that's made it easier for us because we bring that sort of life experience to our DJ business. But as like imposter syndrome, I think that first year was massive because we were like, I don't know if we can do this. And then we would have the occasional friends kind of say something funny or kind of throw you. And that was when we really leaned on each other and be like, stuff that, like, we're doing it now, it really made us dig deep. And now it's a thing, like it's a proper business. We have lots of gigs booked in. It's not a question. Whereas in that first year, we were kind of like, can we do this? Should we do this? Are we, should we not be doing this? And that's where I think sometimes in life you have to push through those moments.
You do.
Time frame.
And I think we, unfortunately, place so much importance on what others think of us. And let's just face it, maybe the women or men that might have given you a side remark, are they DJs? Do they have the expertise that you have? No. So a lot of that is coming from their own insecurities. And I think the fact that you can just push through and ignore that, because I think a lot of people would listen to that noise and really second guess themselves and not do it because it's easier not to do it, right? So the fact that you push through and, you've proved to yourself that you can do it. And even if, let's say, it hadn't have happened, at least you tried, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you never regret it.
You just, you're trying it. And Sarah often says, like, probably more in the early days, if we had someone say something funny, she'd be like, "Will you come up here and do it? Come up here. You come up here and get on the decks." Like all people that like throw their weight around about song choices, and you're like, "Come on, you come on and jump on," and like that kind of always makes us giggle and laugh because we know that like most people can't do it. So then, oh well, I'll go. See you later.
So you said, like, sometimes you look at the DJ and you're like, is this that hard? Like, you've never probably really thought what is going on in their brain right now and what is going on behind the scenes and what have they prepped beforehand?
Yeah.
What are they thinking about next? Like, we often say that too, is that there is a lot going on. And I was talking to a DJ just last week, another DJ, and he said it's actually so much harder to keep a less amount of people on a dance floor than a huge crowd in a stadium that's already there, like at a festival. They're all there at a dance floor and they're going to dance no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Like the skill of getting a dance floor starting, keeping them on a dance floor, that's hard. Hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have to work really hard in the early days when you do smaller events because you have to get people on and keep them there. So it definitely makes you skill up pretty fast.
Yeah. So if there is a woman who's listening to this conversation and has a dream or has a spark of something, but doesn't have the confidence to step forward with it, what is your recommendation to that lady who really is listening and thinking, I would love to be like them, but I just can't do it?
So I have so many. I think I could write a book on all of these. But no, I mean, it's a conversation we have had with a lot of friends since we've done this as well. Like friends will say different things to us, like, I wish I was doing that, or I'd love to pick this hobby back up again. We have a friend who's a singer who we're trying to get back on into singing, and she might DJ and sing with us. But I think the thing I would always say is like, just do something. Like the biggest thing we do is be like, I need to be like, it needs to be this successful, or I need to be really this good at it, or I need to be this accomplished. And that's what usually prevents people from doing it in the first place, this silly goal that it has to be this certain way. Like you can get so much. We would be getting joy out of DJing in our living room, which we do a lot of. Like that's still fun. We have a drink on a Friday night and just do it, just the two of us. That brings so much joy. So I think just do something, like just do one part of it, because that usually is just the stepping stone to then it becoming a bigger thing. And a hobby can just be a hobby. Like it doesn't have to be true any more than that. It just needs to bring you joy, and it doesn't really matter what anyone else perceives that as a success or not. It's success if you get joy out of it. And that's all any dream needs to be, is just something that you get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. And what about you, Sarah? What would your suggestion be?
Yeah. You said it earlier. So you said a little quote, it's never too late. And my dad actually he's an author, and he has a book called It's Never Too Late. And he has little quotes that he's written all throughout that book. And it's, a little gift inspirational book. And I used to actually read a page of it every morning, first day of, I love that, every morning at work.
Yeah.
With a team. And I would say it is never too late. It's never too late to do something you always thought you wanted to do or try to do. Free's grandma is 96, and she's learned how to use Chat GPT. It's never too late, And I think that is just, and to really go for it, we have a few different quotes that lots and lots of different music quotes and lots of other quotes that we live our lives by. And one music one is rise up, don't let them bring you down, don't let them take your crown. Like, we can do anything. You can do what you want to do. You can try it. You got to try.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what's the alternative? Not to. And
the alternative is being regretting it, which is so much worse. It's so much worse to regret not doing something, I think, as you said earlier, than to just give it a go, whether it works out or not. That's the hardest thing, is to do it, because you feel like it has to be this thing in your mind that it doesn't really matter. That what's worse is wishing you did something and not doing it, and then thinking about it. Like, that's such a my nana, she's a real live with no regrets 96-year-old. And she's also one of our biggest, she just loves that we DJ. We show her little videos of us on boats and bars and things, and she thinks it's amazing. But she's very much, just do things that make you happy and keep doing them for your whole life, and not, don't stop doing that just because you get older,
Yeah. No, gosh. And I think it keeps you young as well, and motivated and excited. And I'm so excited about this stage in life to try new things. I mean, we've all had these things happen to us where we've tried something, we've failed. We're humans. It happens. But I think you just got to keep picking yourself up and going again. And you hear all those success stories, and they'll say, I wrote a book and no one wanted to publish it. I went to 10, 20 different publishers until someone said yes. So, you've just got to keep picking yourself up and having that self-belief. But I love your advice. Is to start small, just do something little. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It doesn't have to turn into a profession for you, or that's going to make all this money. As long as you love it, why not? Well, girls, I've loved this conversation. I wish you all the best with your futures, and I'm definitely going to come and listen to one of your good gigs, because I was just telling you before we jumped on how I've been going to some of these events for people over 40 and just all the old music and new stuff, and it's just been such a joy for me to be around it, and music lifts me and makes me feel so good. So I definitely will come along to your next gig, and I'll leave your details in my show notes. But I would like to ask you, what is the go-to track that is guaranteed to get people on the dance floor? What is it?
Great question. Look, you can't go wrong. You can never go wrong with House of Pain Jump Around, because, everyone
loves it.
Actually knows that track. Everyone loves that track. They run to the dance floor. People literally run to the dance floor. And as you have just said, music is such a joy in people's lives. It does. It absolutely brings you up, dancing, moving your body. We should never stop doing that. So it's so great to hear that you're back there going to,
I know,
gigs.
I love that there's a whole lot more gigs coming out for people that are that didn't used to be a thing. It used to be all geared towards people in their early 20s. Yeah. And I think maybe post-COVID, or just because people that like dance music in their 20s are now in their 40s and 50s, there's so many more events that promoters are putting on, which is awesome, because why would we stop dancing? Just because we're not in our early 20s.
No, so happy for us.
Yeah. Oh, great, guys. Keep going. Yeah. Now, I like to end my episodes with the same question, and that because I have two of you, I get two quotes. Is there a quote that has resonated with you throughout your life that you'd like to share with us? Sarah, would you like to start?
Yes. Mine definitely is, if you don't ask, you don't get. My mum has always said that to me throughout my life. And that goes across everything. That goes across DJing. That's symbiotic with our other business as well. It gets us a lot of places. It does get us a lot of places, we think sometimes they don't want to be asked, but people do want to be asked for something. They do often. And I'm not afraid to ask anymore.
Love it.
Because you often get what you want. And you're not in a mean way, not in a pushy way, in like a go for it way.
Yeah. What do you got to lose? Might as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Bri, what about you?
I've always loved the quote that you make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. And I think I just love that quote because I think it just puts it into perspective that it's not just about the money that we earn, but it's, what we do with it. And in the context of DJing, I think what is so joyful is seeing other people, like giving an experience to people where they're having fun and they're enjoying themselves. And that's just like priceless. Like that gives you so much fuel, is playing songs and seeing people love and enjoy themselves and have a good time. Like what better than that? So I see it at that age.
Yeah. Guys, thanks. This has been such a great conversation. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to see you guys on the dance floor because I definitely will be there. Yeah. And, all the very best. Good on you. Good on you for having a go. I think it's amazing. And yours is definitely a success story.
Oh, thanks so much, Michelle. It's been a pleasure talking to you about this.
Yeah, see you guys.
Fave combo.
Bye. I'm glad.
Thanks, Michelle. Oh, good.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Your Second Act. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could rate and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to me.